Yeah, cold air, bright flame, hit a crest when we enter. When the crest covers circle tight, we remember power in the whispers, protection in the spell, etching in our bloodline, yeah, we know it well. Strong minds, strong hearts, every sigil intentional. Love keeps us guarded, magic multi-dimensional. We rise together, no throne, no lone caster. Sisters and brothers, every spell cast faster. Ice in the wind, but the bonds stay warm. Through shadow and storm, we transform. This ain't fear, this is faith in motion. When the crest covered, strength, love, devotion.
Blessed be. You're listening to the Winter Crest podcast. I'm your host, Paul Abayarafu. And it's about 4:20 something in the morning. And I had some things in my spirit and upon my mind that I want to talk about. And I couldn't rest until I got this off of my chest. And I was up studying and I was listening to a variety of teachers from different religions, some of them from pagan religions, some of them from the Protestants and Abrahamic faiths. And being a theologian, one who understands both theology and theosophy, I began to think about the history, the known history of the human family and the confusion that has gone on in the name of a god or goddess. How divided we are as a human family, how troubled religion has been over the years. I mean, we've gone through some things. From the forsaking the original religions of the indigenous ancestors, to men trying to possess religion for their own goals and for their own whims, polluting religion, fighting wars in the name of religions for their own specific goals. We've gone through antiquity where the Ammonites would fight the Jebusites. The Israelites would do war with the Philistines, all in the name of their Pacific gods, so that they could have the bragging rights that their tribal god was God. And then it got worse during the Ottoman Empire and the time of the Crusades. Each group thinking that God was with them, and they sincerely believing that it was God's will for them to lay blades at the necks of their brothers. Because you don't agree with me, because you don't view divinity the way I view divinity, because you have not looked at divinity the way I look at divinity, then I feel as if it's my divine right to call jihad or to call crusade. And so we've had holy wars in the name of religion. Then there was just outright persecutions, the persecution of science, the persecutions of the witches. The European witch hunts were disastrous. And then came along the American witch hunts, the Inquisitions, the imprisonments, the murders, the deaths, all in the name of religion. And in this day, 2026, we're still fighting wars over religions and tribal beliefs. Many of the religions have different names now. You know, you have the religion of money, the religion of capitalism, the religion of socialism. You have political religions. You have theological religions. This church is better than the other church. You have men on television and on YouTube and other places vilifying other men in the name of their professed religion. You have people damning people to hell because they think differently than what you think like. And all of this confusion has gone on for centuries. When the truth of the matter is that the sincere person only wanted to find divinity. The sincere person only wanted to know how it all worked. Looking for meaning in life, trying to answer the question of, who am I? Why am I here? And what am I put here to do? Instead of religion answering the question, what religion has done is beat down the person who's asking the question, hurt them, made them feel worse than a worm, made them feel like a nobody, a vagabond, a spiritual hobo and destitute. That's what religion has done. In my spirit, I sense a different time approaching. There will always be factions. There will always be those that are upset with you because you won't walk or march according to their drum beat. There are going to always be those. But the sincere, we're waking up. We're opening our eyes. We're realizing the schemes and the scams of the men that's standing behind the sacred desk trying to interpret to us scriptures. We're understanding those witches and those high priests and high priestesses that are only ego-driven and trying to trick us and mislead us so that they can get a rise. We're waking up to those that want to constantly put us down while they simultaneously step on us to lift themselves up. We're starting to wake up. And in my opinion, that's a very beautiful thing. A time when humankind can find the truths that they're looking for their way, without the fear of hell or the fear of the condemnation of men or the fear of people trying to put them there. We're in a different time. And I think it's important, especially those of us that are in Wintercrest, to embrace this moment, to realize where we are. It's time for us to really grow up and grow strong, to study, to learn, to lean into spirituality. Not religious vigor, but spirituality. To find the way of the shaman, to journey the way of the indigenous ancestor, to find the truth, to explore, to study, to learn, to practice, that our way be proficient and perfected for ourselves. There was a time in Christian church where people were afraid to ask God anything. When I was a little boy, they often said, you don't question God. And you damn sure don't question that Bible. You don't say nothing about that. You leave that alone. So we just went broken, not having our questions answered. We didn't understand why God did some of the things he did. You know, why did Uncle Leroy have to die? Why did grandmother have to pass? They told us that God needed good people up there with him too. What is he doing up there? I thought he was everywhere. And if he made man, why can't he just make him some people there? Why come take the people here and just take them up there and let us hurt while he's not hurting because he has our loved ones with him? Inside, we thought that God was a monster. But we were afraid to say that because we didn't want to be condemned to eternity in hell. But we're at a time now where we don't mind voicing our questions. And the generations that are coming forth now, we don't mind questioning the book and questioning the religious practice and questioning why in the hell are we doing this? What is it for? And I think we should do the same thing magically. Those of us who walk the magical path, those of us who seek the way of sorcery, those of us who are necromancers, what's going on? We can't make the mistakes of the past. Just because a well-known somebody said something or did something doesn't mean that that something that was said or did was right and true. I was reading through some of the works of Dr. John Dee and Eliphas Levi and Aleister Crowley and Madame Blavatsky. And there's a lot of things there that just doesn't seem true. There's a young man that I was looking at. He's not young now. He's a lot older than I am. And he started the craze of spoon bending. There's a lot of people that still believe that he could bend spoons. Well, one night on the Johnny Carson show, and that's a real old talk show for the younger ones, they set up a theme for him to bend the spoons. And he couldn't do it. Now, the excuse was, they were putting him on the spots and he was feeling uncomfortable, but he could not do it. Do I think that a magician can bend a spoon? I do, with everything in me. I think they could do it like the Matrix. But if it's being done, surely it could be done on a talk show. Surely it could be done in front of an audience. So the guy who was professing that he had the capabilities, what's going on now? You're in front of an audience and you're not able to do it. So either something has to be wrong with the magical laws or something has to be wrong with the man claiming magic. And we have to look at that truthfully and ask the questions. And not only with him, but with all these preachers that are saying they have the power to heal the sick. Well, let's test it. If your book is right or if your belief is right, then let's test it. Why is it that the only people that are healed are diseases we can't verify or see right then? Why won't they get up out of the wheelchairs? Where are the dead being raised at? What's going on? And if they're not getting out of the wheelchairs and if they're not being raised from the dead, we have the right to question that. It doesn't mean that the dead can't be raised. It doesn't mean that people can't get out of wheelchairs. Maybe something else is going on, but don't proclaim that you can lay your hands on anybody and get them up out of a chair if that's not what's happening. And see, what it does is it ushers in doubt in the realms of spirituality. Now, I believe that spirit, I don't believe that God is a he. I believe that God surpasses he and she. We refer in the pagan communities as God and Goddess because we see this expression in nature. I believe that monad is the supreme being. The monad is everything, all inclusive, all that is, all that will be, from the premateria to all that exists. And there's laws that have come here, like the law of gravity, the law of flight, the law of avionics, and other type of laws. And it's important to study, comprehend, and learn what these laws are so that we can live the lives we want to live. I believe there's certain things you can do as you grow or attain the spiritual fortitude and power to do it. But don't tell me that he can heal everybody if there's people still in your wheelchairs. And why not go to St. Jude? Why not go to the hospitals? Why not get them out of their sick beds? Nowadays, they're saying that, they're going to get healed either way. Either they're going to get healed when they die and go be with Jesus, which is really not healing, or they're going to get healed right here. We must examine what we're proclaiming and what we're teaching. Now, if you tell me I have to acquire a certain amount of faith to be healed from cancer or whatever diseases that are there, that I have to acquire this faith to do so, then I can understand that we're growing spiritually. But why is it when the pastor needs a new edifice or a new airplane, he's not growing in faith to get that, but he's asking the congregation? It's easy for a pastor to be wealthy if he has 10,000 followers, all giving him just $10 a Sunday. That's a lot of wealth there, especially when you're tax exempt. Especially when they give it a little bit to one cause. No wonder the churches are so glamorous and so glorious. But it's something else when you don't have 10,000 followers and you have to believe God for something. Now, I honestly believe that there's nothing too hard for divinity. That divinity can exalt you from poverty and make you prosperous. That divinity can heal your body. That divinity can rescue you from whatever situation you may be in. I believe that's possible. And I believe that as we grow and we uncover these laws and we learn more about divinity in its true nature, not the nature that you imagine that divinity is in, but the true nature of divinity, I believe that we can aspire and grow to heights that's amazing. We're in a time, Winter Crest, that we can pursue this path. We're in a time that there's no restraints. Knowledge is so abundant right now. You have it on YouTube. You have it on social media sites. You have an opportunity of learning and mastering the spiritual principles necessary to be as strong as you want to become. You have that ability afforded to you right now. The Catholic Church is not right outside our homes, ready to persecute us. Not in many places. We're not being burnt at the stake right now. We're not being imprisoned for our beliefs at this point, not right now. This is a great opportunity to truthfully learn and throw off this thing that they just don't want us to have it. It doesn't matter what the hell they want now. We can get it for ourselves. You can plant your own garden. You can feed yourself. You can buy your own cows. You can buy your own chickens. If your government is not giving you the necessities that you need, we're in a space and time right now that we can get them for ourselves. We can till the ground ourselves. We can help ourselves right now. And that's one of the many reasons the Winter Crest Convent was founded. Is to create a real Diagon Alley, to create a real Hogsmeade, to create an atmosphere and energy where those that truly love magic more than anything else can pursue divinity and pursue spirituality and live in the completeness of the magical world as they so dreamed. That's why we're here. That's what we're doing. And we have an opportunity now to make our dollars count, to make our presence count, to buy whatever books we want to read. We just need to read them. To do whatever practices within the laws of our lands that we want to do. We just need to do them. It is time for us to truly practice, to rise up and meet this moment. I don't know how long it's going to be here, and I don't know if it's going to ever come again. But we're at a moment that we're not being persecuted for learning stuff. We can learn. We can grow. We can develop. So let us grow our own food. Let us find our own communities. Let us live the way we choose to live. Let us be our own kinds of witches, wizards, warlocks and sorcerers, necromancers, or whatever you choose to call yourself. Let us seek divinity. Let us meet divinity ourselves. The way divinity have created or allowed or emanated for us to do. That's what we should do, in my opinion. Thank you for listening to me. This has been Paul Abayarafu, and you've been listening to the Winter Crest Podcast. Thank you, and until next time, blessed be.
Yeah. Cold air, bright flame, hit a crest when we enter. When the crest covers circle tight, we remember. Power in the whispers, protection in the spell. Ancient in our bloodline, yeah, we know it well. Strong minds, strong hearts, every sigil intentional. Love keeps us guarded, magic multidimensional. We rise together, no throne, no lone caster. Sisters and brothers, every spell cast faster. Ice in the wind, but the bonds stay warm. Through shadow and storm, we transform. This ain't fear, this is faith in motion. Winter crest covered, strength, love, devotion.